Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. My name is Adam. I am the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and digitally pictured on your screen without a beard, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with Rewriting History, Montreal Canadiens 1918-1919 season, The Plague Cometh, Part 9. Yeah, Part 9. Jeff, we've been controlling the Montreal Canadiens since the dawn of time, or the dawn of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yep.
And we are kind of just stuck at around 500. What's going on?
We started in 1909 with the NHA. The plan here is to replay the Canadiens' entire history, or at least as much of it as we can possibly get to over the course of a year's streams. We did win the NHA championship once, and effectively in those days it was the Stanley Cup as well. So we've got one championship in here. But you can see I'm looking at the team history right now, and it was kind of up and down. We had a couple of fairly rough seasons towards the end of it. We've been sort of 500-ish the whole time along. I did make one major mistake early on. You can see Georges Vezina is only third in our win leaders, and this is what his career looked like. I forgot at the end of 1911 I didn't have him under contract, and forgot that the PCHA was going to be appearing out west and would be able to sign NHL players. And he promptly signed with Vancouver, and he's been there ever since. Can't get him out, and he's, I think, getting to the point where he's starting to slow down a little bit. He's over 30 now. So probably no point in hoping that he ever comes back. If we do get him back, he'll be a shadow of what he used to be.
Oh, there's always hope.
Yeah, well, I mean, he only had about 5 years left to live at this point. Came down with tuberculosis in 1925, I think. And
we looked at this last time.
Yeah. And speaking of diseases, this is also the year that there was no Stanley Cup. The Spanish flu, I mean, this is a crazy story. Can you imagine some sort of contagious illness going around and shutting down, all competitive sports for months at a time?
Yeah, I've
unthinkable.
heard something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, 1919, the Spanish flu happened. And the teams that kept playing, they managed to make it as far as the Stanley Cup Finals between Seattle and Montreal. And Joe Hall, who's not with Montreal in this game, I'm not sure where he is, come to think of it. I'm curious now, I think.
Okay. Vezina died in 1926, March 27th, 1926, actually.
There we go, okay. So Hall is going to live because he was smart enough to retire before this season. Played his last season with Toronto a couple of years earlier. So he passed away in real life during that. After they'd started to play the final, the series was abandoned and there was no Stanley Cup final. And there is actually a little bit of special coding in for this year in the game. It's not a guarantee, but if we make it into the, I think if we make it up to the PCHA, NHL final series between the champions of the two leagues for the Cup, there's a chance that some of our players, we'll get a bunch of injuries with, I think it's the virus injury type, and we'll take out a bunch of players that way. But anyhow, we've got to get there first, and right now we've got this to deal with. This is the smallest the NHL ever was. 3 teams: Ottawa, Montreal, and Toronto. Started out the previous year with 2 teams in Montreal. The Wanderers Arena burned down; they went out of business, and so it's just this until next season when Quebec comes back. So we're in the middle of the pack right now. It's a fairly good Ottawa team and not very good Toronto team. And I've got a game here against Ottawa. I did...
Toronto's not bad. Their defense is just awful.
Well, I mean, everybody is good at this point. There's only 3 teams. There's, 3 teams in the East, 3 teams in the West. And... you can imagine if you boiled the NHL down to 6 teams right now, what the talent level would be. So we go through the rosters, and out of half the actual NHL rosters, there's only probably 30-something guys playing that season, and no, it's half, but a pretty good percentage of them are in the Hall of Fame.
You got to bait. Well, while you're moving here, Jeff, and you talked about...
and we lose 6-3 to Ottawa in the first game. We've got our best player, Joe Malone, is hurt a little bit, so... And now we got DJ Peter. We've had some injury problems this year, by the way. We've got our captain, Buck Boucher, is gone for a couple of more months. Stu Keats, one of our better offensive guys, gone for 2 or 3 weeks. Albert Kerr, we got from Ottawa last year, is still day-to-day, and now Peter's just a minor injury, so we can keep him in. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, just talking history lesson time. Do you know why it's called the Spanish flu?
It allegedly started in Spain, but didn't really.
Yeah, pretty much. Spain at the time was a neutral country in World War One, and so while they believe that it actually just basically started in Europe,
and we lost again to Ottawa there.
They basically, Spain was the only one actually accounting the numbers of who was all getting actually sick, because the armies didn't want people to know back home how bad things actually were.
So it looked like
and so
they were the only ones
actually
admitting people were sick. Yeah.
Yes, it's convenient to blame the neutral country. So we have the Spanish flu of 1919. Which I kind of always laugh. And if you ever go back and look at like what you're supposed to do, always cracks me up.
What?
Because we looked at that when you looked at comparisons of like what happened during COVID, and it's like, stay away from people, cover your mouth, wash your hands.
And there was even an anti-vaccine or an anti-mask movement back then too. Okay, by the way, trading deadline today. I don't think I'm going to make any moves. I did make one free agent signing. I took advantage of we made a change in our house rule that said we could only sign French players or Quebec-born players. We amended that to also signing guys who are with the Canadiens in real life. So Bert McCaffrey was kicking around as a free agent, and he played actually about a decade after this for the Canadiens, but he meets our little house rule requirements. So I added him to the roster just for a little more depth. And we may, at the rate we're getting injuries, we may need it.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty nice ad off the free agent pool.
And now 3 losses in a row, and now Odie Cleghorn is hurt.
Uh-oh.
Pleurisy. Don't see that often.
So, Jeff, for someone who's never experienced, what is that?
It's some sort of kind of a chest infection, if I remember right. I think my mother had it once.
All right, hold on. How do you spell that again?
Pleurisy.
Pleur. Pleurisy.
And I'm going to throw McCaffrey into one game for Cleghorn while he's recovering from that.
Oh. So okay, it's a thing that leads to pneumonia.
Ah, there we go.
That's more simple.
And 5-2 to Ottawa, and we are dead last because we've lost 4 games in a row now. Oh, great. And Al Lacroix, we had brought back up temporarily because Sammy Hébert, our backup, was injured, has somehow managed to do something that's got him into trouble. So I'm going to swap him out and put him back in the minors. The problem is that harmony problem. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, I did it. The teammates weren't bothered by it. Okay, there we go. That's fine then. So I was going to say that if some of the teammates were upset with him, you can't get rid of that by just sending him to the minors. But not a problem since nobody was upset by it. Okay. And Edmund Bouchard, who was our extra defenseman, has gastroenteritis. They're getting all the unusual injuries this week. Albert Kerr is healthy again. And, whoa, what happened to Harry Hyland? He suddenly dropped off to... What was he at the start of this in your game, Adam?
Harry Hyland?
Yeah, how many stars?
2 stars.
Oh, okay, he's dropped to 1, so...
That's a pretty big jump.
Yeah. And the problem is he was one of the few guys who could play center here.
Now, so, Jeff, while you're going here, I'm just going to announce and make sure we are currently streaming on 3 different live services right now. We're streaming on our Steam page, which with the game is currently on sale for 33% off for about just a little over 12 hours left. We are streaming on twitch.tv/franchise hockey manager, as well as twitch.tv/OOTP development. So if you see us talking or answering questions from somewhere not in your chat, that's probably why.
And now Odie Cleghorn, strained groin, 1 to 2 weeks, so he can go on the injury list. But it's one thing after another this year.
Seems like you need a new trainer.
And we at least come out with an overtime win over Ottawa. We've got Clint Benedict in goal, who's probably the best goalie we've had since we lost Vezina. The problem is when Quebec comes back at the start of next season, we're going to lose him.
You know, I see part of the problem with our goaltending. Have you looked at our goaltending staff or who our goalie coach is?
I think we've got somebody doing a couple of different jobs there. Why did I put him as a goalie coach? I mean, it's not helping.
What's his job? Coaching goalies. He's terrible at it. Just awful. Okay, perfect. Just sign you up.
Okay. We will make the other guy the goaltending coach.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. Coaching goalies. There is Baldev Gill available.
No,
he's excellent at coaching goaltenders and very good at coaching prospects.
I'm just going to swap the staff around a little bit.
He's only going to cost $1,100 for 4 seasons.
And now I've got to send somebody down because I've got 16 players, so I can afford to bring somebody up. Oh boy. Let's try Stan Jackson. We haven't used him yet.
Also hire Pat McGrath.
And I'm just going to redo the lines at the start of every game, just temporarily. And Jackson doesn't have a number assigned yet. Just using the AI lines here to set the lines up. And we get blown out 8-0 by Toronto because we're pretty badly injury depleted at this point. How many games we got left in this train wreck of a season? 5 games left.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, I mean, this one is almost a write-off at this point, although... if we can get a couple of wins here. I think it's the top 2 teams play in the finals, and yeah, not doing ourselves any favors. Now we lose 6-2 to Toronto, and now George Carey is injured. Well, his Bell is sort of back. Yeah, he's got the flu. That's ominous. What about the other guys? Okay, Duke Keats is almost back, so at least that'll give us a proper second-line center once he gets back. Oh, there we go. No, that is the special event. That is what... so Carey does have that. And now we're going to get a bunch of guys hit with the flu. This is coming in earlier than I expected. Oh, it's February. That's approximately the right time for it, I think.
Guys coming back from the war, bringing it with them. Yeah. 3 months to get out. Yeah, I can see that.
And easy 4-1 win for Ottawa. Now it's Eddie Girard. Torn biceps. So this is probably one of the worst runs of injuries I've seen. And Mary Watson strained his gluteus.
Sitting on the bench too much.
But we do get Keats back at least. And Carey and Cleghorn are close, not there yet. One thing I was going to mention, I noticed I did go through offline and through some of the player roles and updated a bunch of them. The players had gotten, we've been moving through this pretty quickly, so the players have been aging, and we've
as that tends to happen
as
as you
they
get through
age,
the
it
year.
tends to adjust what role fits them. And I hadn't gone back and adjust them, so I've changed a bunch. I've changed quite a few from the previous stream. So it's worth doing if you're going through a few seasons in a hurry like we are, just to make sure things get updated properly. Okay, Keats can go back in. And there we go. He's back on the second line. And finally, 7-5 win. Joe Malone gets 4 goals. This is also the season where Joe Malone had a 7-goal game, which is still a record.
And likely will be for some time.
And now we got Skinner Poulin is hurt. Only day-to-day, fortunately. And we just throw in Harry Watson, who's in his strained gluteus. Don't want him on the first line, though. And a 3-1 win over Ottawa. A bit of an upset. Okay, Watson's healthy. Yeah, leave it like that. Yeah, only let him play in the first line this time. And 5-1 loss to Toronto. And the media is criticizing Joe Malone. Let's just go with the neutral response. He's our best player. Don't want to upset him. We got any games left here? I think that's the end of the season. That is the end of the regular season. We finish, well, if the arena is later to be the Leafs, can get at least 1 point at the end here. They'll finish ahead of us. So that may be the end of the season for us.
It'd be nice to crush them.
And I think they did get one there. See, now we're getting all our guys back that we're not playing anymore and can't actually use them. And where did we finish here? Okay, well, Toronto, no, they actually didn't get a point, but they still beat us on, wow, look at the goal differentials there. We got the same record, but we're down 35 and they're only -1.
Oof.
So they apparently played Ottawa a lot closer than we did this year. And out west, and I think this is probably going to be Victoria. Yeah, they had a kind of a scary team this year. They're dominating out there. They picked up a few guys from the Wanderers team that went under and had some good players to start with. Still got Cyclone Taylor, although he's starting to age a little bit, and they should wind up winning the PCHA, so it's probably going to be an Ottawa-Victoria final unless something goes very odd. And we do get a playoff, so it'll be, unless something really surprises me. Yeah, Toronto and Ottawa. Ottawa's already won 1 game of that. And we're still getting injuries because the season is still technically underway. And this is just going to go by very quickly because the NHL championship is over, and no surprise, Ottawa wins. And are we finally getting all of our injured guys back? Yeah. Might as well move them all up. Oh, and I need to remember, let's get everybody under contract, see who is expiring. Oh, yeah. Definitely don't want to lose Joe Malone. And something that is going to be happening, you know, bring back Peter for 35. He's got to be getting close to retirement, but no, he's cheap. you can have that. Poulin also getting older, but what I was going to say, we are when Quebec comes back on July 1st, players who were previously with them in the NHA will have their contracts transferred over to them. So we're going to lose a few guys that way, notably Clint Benedict. So we're going to have another goaltending problem at the start of this. Looks like everybody extended properly. And April 1st, the Stanley Cup that never happened, or at least was never completed, is going to happen. And who won the PCHA? Oh, 14-2 in the total goal series between Victoria and Vancouver. So Victoria and Ottawa in the final. In the so it's not keeping the history for the Stanley Cup final series. And the Senators up 2-1 in the best of 7 series. And wind up winning best of 7 4-2 over Victoria. So 2 good teams, but Ottawa is just a little better, and that's, yeah, a really loaded lineup. Are they at least going to... I'm not seeing any Quebecs in their roster, so they're probably going to be just as strong next year, and they'll have a bad semi-expansion team to beat up on. Yeah, the development report isn't great. A lot of guys going downhill, and we don't have that many younger guys improving. So we're going to have the first draft pick after... Well, no, Quebec will probably get that, I guess.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, and we're going to be losing guys too, right?
Yeah, so this is not going to be a great off-season either. And re-sign our stuff.
Any chance Vesna comes back?
Well, we'll see on July 1st, but I don't think he's a free agent this year.
I'm just looking.
And Albert Kerr did something off ice. That's
he is actually only on a 1-year deal, so he could if he didn't resign.
No, he's resigned. The asterisk. He probably did that after the point in the save that you've got. But yes. He resigned for 1 more year and for a fairly cheap deal too, because so he seems to want to stay in Vancouver.
Sounds like somebody else I know.
Yeah, and another bunch of red X's, no positives at all, and a mediocre season score of 17.
So what happens if you get fired here, Jeff?
I don't know how far... No, we're still fairly secure. I mean, we've had the rebuild mode on for the last few seasons, so the owner has no real expectations of us. Okay, last day of the season. I've got everybody re-signed I want to re-sign. So July 1st. Quebec Bulldogs are now in the NHL. Let's see what they got back. So they got Clint Benedict from us in goal, which is going to help them a lot. Art Ross has moved from Toronto. He's kind of over the hill at this point. Morley Bruce from Toronto. Harry Meeking from Toronto. Yeah, they've looted Toronto pretty well. Tommy Dunderdale, Toronto. And is it George Carey, who's just sort of a spare part with us.
Is it so much that they looted Toronto, or Toronto just took advantage of them not being there?
True. And the Toronto is now the St. Patrick's, by the way. And just because the way the logo works, you can't really see that. But that actually is the St. Patrick's logo on the green background. But they do have George Hainsworth in goal, who's coming along nicely for them.
Wow,
So
yeah,
they're
that
not
looks...
too bad. Ottawa didn't lose anybody, and they're the defending champion and defending cup champion as well. So good luck with that. So Quebec, they were in the NHA, and they did come back. They did sit out the first 2 NHL seasons. The franchise was temporarily suspended. They came back for a year. They weren't really in good financial shape. This is the arena they were playing out of. That's actually a later photo. That's, you can see from the cars. It's, I think, the early 40s, which was an improvement over the one they had played with up until, I think, 1913 in the NHA, which was a tiny little 1,500 square foot ramshackle thing. This was the new arena was a little better, still not really up to the standards of the rest of the league. And eventually this burned down a few years after this picture was taken. Excuse me. And just yet another arena burning down. You can tell that, a lot of the arenas in this era were still all wood construction. Concrete didn't become prevalent for a few more years yet. So that's what happened to them. They'll get one season before they move on to Hamilton. They couldn't make the finances work in Quebec. So we will see the Hamilton team next year for them, which will eventually become the New York Americans. As for us, our team now our farm team is still Hawkesbury. In Ontario, we've got 4 teams in the league, and our urgent issue is the goaltending. Tell me there's a goalie out here. Okay, Roy Waters is there. He's in the amateur draft. Flat Walsh, who we had signed before and didn't want to re-sign with us, has got 4-star potential, so that's an option. I'm just going to do the player search, and should mention here that I'm not going to get into them right now, as we're still doing a little work on them. You've got a couple of new features coming in the upcoming update that will let you save your filter, lock it, so whatever filter changes you make will stay active, and you can do this on different screens as well. So you can have one filter set to be the default on one screen, and then a different filter on another screen. So we've made a bunch of improvements in that, and are still working on that a little bit. So that's up and coming for the next update. And I want signable here. And Jack Walker from Vancouver has made it to free agency, but nope, he doesn't fit into any of the house rule things for signing Canadiens players, so we don't get him. Waters is going to be in the amateur draft. We're going to have to take a young goalie, I think, and we'll see if we get Waters in the draft. If not, then I'll sign Walsh. But the goaltending is going to be shaky this year, again.
Dun, dun.
And I'm just looking if there's any other goalies floating
around. Can we trade for anybody?
Yeah, I was just checking for that, but not really. There's not that much out there, so let's... Oh, great, we got a new clique forming. Okay, let's try and knock that down right away. Okay, down to 3 players, that's good. Okay, draft day. Oh, wait, is Waters... No, Waters was an actual free agent, not... He must have been 19 and got passed up.
I'm to offer him a deal, then.
And who is... That's weird. Is this This looks like a fictional player that somehow made it in. I've got to check on this guy.
Oriel Karpetsov?
Yeah, I'm gonna retire him. That's not a real guy. I don't know how he got there, and I'll have to check the database after this and see what he's doing in there, or if he even exists, or something. That's a bug somehow.
Oh, okay, hold on. Just keep that name up there for a second.
It's absolutely not a real guy. It's a French Canadian last name and a first name and a Russian last name. There's nobody with the name Karpovtsev playing in the NHL in that area.
You don't know that for sure.
Yes, I do. Okay, rookie draft. Cross your fingers. Pray Quebec doesn't take Frank Boucher.
They will.
They do. So, future Leaf coach Hap Day, who has no connection with Quebec as far as I know. Nope, he's from Owen's side.
Lionel Conacher does.
Yeah, that's...
I don't know much, but I know Lionel Conacher.
Lionel Hitchman, did he ever play for Montreal? No. But, yeah, it looks like we're going to have to go with Conacher. Were the Conachers... Oh, they're from Toronto. No, he doesn't meet our house rule. How do you figure he was with us?
I thought. Oh,
the Maroons.
Maroons.
So, well, next we're going to have to take Pit Lapin from, who I'm fairly sure, I mean, French name anyhow, but yeah, Montrealer. So we got to pass on a couple of better players, although Lapin had a pretty decent career with, yeah, he was more than decent, really. Solid Canadian for a dozen years.
Okay,
So I'm going to take him. And we did that thing with our draft pick last time.
Wait, what?
What?
I'm sorry. Did the guy you retired, did you see what his nickname was set to?
Tell me it wasn't something offensive.
No, his nickname is sent to the friendly ghost.
What the hell is that? This is bizarre. That shouldn't be in the... He should not exist. That looks like some kind of weird database thing going on. I gotta check that. I don't know what the hell that is. Anyhow, back to the draft. We do have 2 draft picks in this because remember we had a terrible draft last year,
and we threw them all. Yeah.
Yeah, we. So, is there anybody that? Yeah, this one.
Sorry. Look, this cracks me up.
Okay, Doug Monroe technically played a little bit for the Canadiens at the end of his career, so just because I can't keep pushing that draft pick forward and we want some decent young players, I'm going to take him. And
who was that? Sorry,
that was
Doug Monroe.
Doug Monroe.
Okay. Weirdly, so where is his city of birth?
Who?
Doug Monroe. It just lists Elgin. It doesn't give a state or anything else connected
Elgin,
to it.
Scotland.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah. But he did play for the Canadiens.
I see Pete Burenwig would also work for our house rule.
They played for Toronto, Detroit a little later.
Wait. Is this a real guy?
Here? Who?
Oh, man. Okay. Well, there we go. Red Eye Hart.
Might be.
He is. No, he played for the Canadiens. I checked.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, wait. That's... check him on Elite Prospects if there was... I think there's something wacky going on with the database. I don't really recognize this guy. Actually, I can...
quick Googling does not get...
Oh, no, real guy. Although, hang on, it's showing, it's got the birth year doesn't agree with what's in Elite Prospects, but real guy and meets our rules, so let's take him.
Yeah, sweet name like that. Yeah, definitely.
And one more pick left, and we can take Baron Swag with that. Oh, 2 picks left. Any real goalies? Joe Sullivan. Nope. Albert Hughes. Eventual New York American, not yet. Come on, one of these guys. Best fit, Frank Fisher. You seeing any?
I'm just clicking through things to see if I find something. All right, I'm looking just to see if I see anyone who else is Montreal Canadiens really quick. Oh, wait, never mind. He was Montreal Canadiens. You picked him already. Oh, nope. Nope. Maybe it's time to trade that pick for a future pick.
It's like the 4th rounder, not really worth anything.
Trade it for a future 4th rounder. That, or can we take somebody from France?
I guess I'd count. Or we've got a Swiss French guy, Louis Dufour. Take him.
There was a Swiss goaltender.
Oh, but wait. Speaking of goaltenders, I shouldn't have advanced that quickly because we still need to sign a goalie, and Roy Waters, thankfully, is around still. And he's leaning towards us. Let's really hope we get this. It breaks up and a new one forms right away. I'll try to get rid of that one as well.
Dun, dun, dun.
Still nothing from Waters yet. A little worrying.
Keep offering him a deal.
There we go. He signs.
Woo. All right, we have a goaltender again.
Yeah, and he will be.
Now, for those who don't know who Roy Waters is,
there's his real career just put on the screen, and he's does qualify by virtue of playing 1 game for the. Or wait, is he actually? No, he's from Toronto. Yep. Does qualify by virtue of playing 1 game for the Canadiens. I think that was as an emergency backup in 29-30, but better known as basically being the New York Americans goaltender for most of their existence up until 1937.
I mean, Pittsburgh Pirates in there too, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, not that many Pirates around either, but known primarily for that. Okay, our roster's looking a little better. We can keep Hebert as the backup. We still got, Lacroix is kicking around there. And I'll sign and how many contracts we got with that? Maybe sign 1 more of the draft picks.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa. Did
what?
Well, I went to July 3rd here. Lauren Shabbat is also on a goaltender who's around in Free Agent Center.
Oh, gee. Not in this game. He signed.
Well,
there he is. Oh, I just saw him. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, start by potential, yeah.
Although Flat Walsh is there as well, so when we had him before.
Yes, but he doesn't actually qualify for what we had. He played for the Maroons, the Americans in real life.
I
And
think
he's not
he.
from.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he's from Kingston. We picked him because we
But
really needed a goalie, and he was Kingston was the
but
closest thing. But
we could have Waters and Shabbat, which
yeah,
would be an amazing 1-2 punch.
I just made Shabbat an offer. So
I'm just
that
actually looking down here too.
and Shabbat just signed.
Nice.
So he'll be the backup. Bear can go down. Actually, Bear can just plain go.
Wait, this is a real guy too? What? Little Napoleon Roach?
I think something's gone wrong with the name database here. I'm seeing some weird things. I think there may be a little bit of corruption, so I may have to swap the names file around in this one. There's things mismatches, so don't worry about anything you see there. It's...
Real player 2, Art Gagne? 22-year-old Swiss free agent, played for Montreal in the mid to late 20s.
Can we
sort by potential?
Yeah, I see him. No, we got enough forwards as it is right now.
Okay, well,
maybe another season or two when that sorts.
Billy Boucher, so there.
What?
Billy Boucher.
Billy Boucher. I thought Buck Boucher. That's one of the other Boucher brothers. Frank being the best known one.
Oh, I was just trying to look to see if there's any other quality guys for us to grab, like the amazingly named Hibby Hib. Is that it? He is from Quebec, but he's a forward.
Okay, let me just advance this a little bit.
Oh,
everybody signed.
There's a defenseman. There's a defenseman who would count. Bob Trapp.
Don't see him on this. So
he's 2 stars potential.
No.
1 star current ability.
Not so even if you with that, not somebody we really need to be adding. Okay, Lapine is going to start in the minor leagues. McCaffrey can go down as well. I'm just going to thin the roster out a little bit. Monroe 2.
Well, you know, I think our goaltending went from a worry to being a pretty good strength all of a sudden.
Well, not yet. They're still, both of them are still 18, so.
Yes, but we should probably hire a better goaltending coach.
See if there's anybody out there.
Actually, I guess the guy you have right now is great and excellent, so who's in that role right now. So maybe not. Unless we're just bringing in more staff, which we could.
I'll leave it for now. And let me just try setting up the lines with what we've got here. Yeah, that's 14 dressed. Nobody in the depth chart needs to come up. No, doesn't look like it. Must have put Malone on the left wing. I don't like that. Okay, that looks reasonable. Although Poulin, you can see this is one of the things I'm saying about here. He was a speedy forward for quite a while, but he's probably slowed down a bunch in his old age. So I don't know. There's a few things that are 9 now. They're ahead of the speedy forward that's rated 8. Oh, back-checking forward is 10. That makes sense because he's playing on the lower line now. So we'll leave him there. Does Kerr need to change as well? No, Sniper really is his best. And tactics-wise, okay, it's got Keith on the points. Keith's on the point, okay. And tactics. I'm just going to quickly flip through and see, make sure there's not a bunch of things that are, oh yeah, they offensive zone attacking. Choice no longer fits us. Slot overload isn't bad. That looks like it's slot overload. Yeah, I mean, Watson, well, Clegg-Runn's on the first line. Yeah, that's kind of good. 2-3 press. Forecheck is not good. I'm trying to avoid having a bunch of bad and terrible fits. A lot of the stuff we're switching to seems to be really good for Keith, so he should hopefully have a much better year this year. He's been a bit of a disappointment so far. That one's all neutral, best we can do. Yeah, a lot of these no longer work for us. I think part of it is the team getting old. And probably a little bit thin on talent as well. We're going to have trouble on the... Well, at least that's only the setting that's used defensively when our team's on the power play. Which hopefully shouldn't be happening too often. Okay, that's it. And finally the power play breakout looks like it needs something new here. Yeah, a lot of these are really focusing on Keats and Malone. Gonna crank the hitting down a little bit. Oh, I had to have the back checking and the pressure option so low. Crank up attacking and go a little more aggressive this year. Okay, that's it. Quickly set up training. And we'll split the goalie training. Clegg-Run looks like he's peaked, so let's focus that on a younger guy, probably. Well, no, Watson already is. Or maybe just use it. So we haven't got a lot of really young guys. The young guys are starting on the farm, so I'm going to have to use the points just try to preserve the decline of, or prevent the decline of some of the older guys. Oops. Don't really want to drop that bonus, the second number below what it, or below 10. Okay, I think that's our team set up for this season. Why is Keats wearing 41? You gotta give him a better number than that. And early development, oh great, Malone's starting to slip. So we really gotta, hopefully, I hope he's gonna stay good. Managed to reduce the size of the quake again. Harmony is not great. And the free agents are out there. Oh, Archie Bryden seems to
be an interesting choice.
Yeah, but he doesn't have no Montreal connection at all, unfortunately. Development report. Go ahead.
Were you looking for forwards still? Is that because there was those guys I mentioned before?
No, I'm too tight on contracts now. I think I'm at 24 out of 25, okay. And I want to keep that one spot just to have a little flexibility.
Fair enough.
Captains can say the same. Yeah, and just get this up to the start of the regular season. And yeah, as you can see, the seasons tend to start a lot earlier in this era than they do now. And okay, got rid of one click, and oh, that didn't go well. Buck Boucher annoyed some people by trying to break up their click.
Get out of here, Buck. Yeah, I can see that.
Oh. So first exhibition game against the new Quebec Bulldogs with our old goalie Clint Benedict in. And we lose 7-6 in overtime against them. What did they wind up with for a lineup? Yeah, pretty thin other than the guys they got back. Rusty Crawford, who's pretty old at this point, played a little bit for Toronto. And Boucher, who they got in the draft. It's interesting, Boucher is probably going to wind up playing for the New York Americans instead of the Rangers if he stays with this franchise.
Which should be interesting.
George Carey, and they did sign Jack Walker, a free agent from Vancouver. Some good young players. Hitchman will wind up with the Americans, as he did for a while. I think mainly a Bruin now. And another exhibition against Quebec, because there's only 4 teams in the league. Yeah, there we go. That's better. 10-2 win. The aging Didier Pitre gets a hat trick. Keats 4 points, and so same with Malone. Oh, jeez. And Odie Cleghorn dislocates his shoulder.
Oops.
So it's a good thing Petre's showing signs of life, because he's going to have to be the first line right wing now.
All the fun.
Bell makes it into the lineup, and Poulin is dated days, so I can...
1 to 2 months at the start of the season. Not a good way to go.
Yeah, and when the seasons are this short, 1 to 2 months is a huge chunk of them.
Sir.
Okay. And are we into the... No, 2 more preseason games, both against Ottawa, looks like. A 7-3 win, that's a good sign. Now, that's probably not the top Ottawa lineup. May lose some guys to waivers to Quebec. They're probably looking to improve their team. Oh, I should have played Chabot in one of the exhibition games just to get him some time. And we lose to Ottawa. So kicking off the regular season now. Looks like we start against Toronto, who lost a bunch of guys to Quebec. Yeah, that's not a great team other than Hainsworth. Wait, where's Newsy Lalonde? I didn't see him on Quebec. Oh, he went out west. Yeah, signed with Toronto, with Vancouver. He did actually do that 1 year in real life. Yeah, 1911, then went out in the early 20s to Saskatoon at the end of his career. So he's worn out his welcome in Eastern Canada. But now Vancouver's got, yeah, that makes a big improvement in their team. And Vezina is, oh, he's already renewed that for the following year too. So they've got
he's
him locked
declining
down
a bit now too. So yeah.
Okay, home opener against, or at least the road opener against Toronto St. Patrick's, newly named, and 4-1 win. And Poulin seems healthy, so Jackson can come out. And can we do the same against Ottawa? Nope, 8-5 loss to Ottawa.
Oh, right.
And the new Quebec team. Nah, go with that. Should be able to beat these guys, although they've got a good goalie. Yeah, as you can see, 49 saves on 51 shots, and we just barely get out with an overtime win. It looks like they outplayed us. Oh no, we outplayed them 51-24 for shots. And now Eddie Girard, our top winger, injured with a hip strain for a couple of weeks. Jackson go in. I'm not going to put him on the injury list unless somebody else gets hurt, and Cleghorn should be back fairly soon. Development report, some of the younger guys coming along at least. And still having team harmony problems. See if Boucher is any better. Nope. I'm starting to wonder about how effective a captain Buck Boucher is. It's failed a couple of times at breaking up clicks, and Ottawa is 4-0 to start the season. Can we finally break that streak? Now Bert Corbeau is out with migraines. Replace him with Billy Coutu. Gerard day-to-day now, but still can't go back in. And our first line is pretty messed up at this point. 11-7 win. First period, 5-3 at the end of the first period. And they had, yeah, 5 for them. I don't want to look at our, look at the defensive game ratings. 27 for Poulin, and nobody above the best one we had was a 45.
Rough.
And Cleghorn's getting criticized. Why are they criticizing him? We've got 2/3 of our top line out.
Because clearly it's all his fault, Jeff.
Okay, Quebec, please let this be a win. 9-3 win, much better. So we can beat up on the worst team in the league. And apparently Odie Cleghorn got injured again while he was sitting games out, although his counter's at 0, so I can at least put him on the active roster. I don't think he's able to play yet. Nope. And I'm going to have to go with the same lineup again. 7-1 win over Toronto. Billy Coutu was out of the lineup and gets a hat trick as a defenseman.
Nice.
Wants his job back, apparently. And just going to play for a couple more games because we started this one a little bit late. Gerard seems to be healthy now, so Jackson goes out. I got our first line back together, and hopefully Cleghorn gets back soon, and Corbeau also day-to-day, so wow, we may actually all be healthy in another day or two. Unless, of course, something goes horribly wrong. And 7-4 win over Quebec. Well, 5-2 to start the season. This is off to a pretty good beginning. Nobody hurt. We get a win against Ottawa here. That'd really be great. 7-6 loss. Close. So we're in second place. Not bad. And just going to see if I can get a win here against... Oh, there we go. Cleghorn is back, so... He goes on to the first line. Peter goes on to the fourth. At least that's what that should have done. Yep. So we got a healthy team. Nope. No, we don't, because the captain's got a sore back now.
Awesome.
At least...
So happens when you get old, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah. What was I doing? No. Coutu. I screwed that up. Actually, no, I can just do that now. Captain's off. At least Coutu's playing well since we put him back in, so it doesn't really hurt that much to put him in. Quebec 0-8, and they keep going with 7-3 loss to us. And the recently healthy Bert Corbeau gets a couple of points, and it's the first star. So let me take a quick look at our player stats. Malone off to a great start. Keith's finally shaping up. Missed a big chunk of last year with an injury. Harry Watson finally coming along. That's good news. Only 21. Why did we wind up? Oh yeah, we said people from the Atlantic provinces were okay.
Yes. Because that's kind of Quebec.
You tell them that. Billy Bill, I was actually playing really well when we had him in for an injury.
Actually, to be fair, they convinced Quebec Major Junior Hockey League to no longer be the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League.
Yeah, that'll actually be in the upcoming update. It'll be the Quebec, or did we?
Maritime.
I'm trying to remember if I think I got that into the last one.
Yeah, Quebec Maritime now, though.
Yeah, it should be that in the game if you start a new game now. And the Warders is, those are decent numbers for the era. It looks pretty bad compared to what you see now, but 377 goals against average and 868 save percentage for an 18-year-old goalie. 18-year-old rookie goalie is pretty good. And we're second best in the league at the moment. Jake Forbes of Toronto, actually. And Hainsworth is fourth, not having a great start. Okay, just going to quickly play this Toronto game to get us to 10 games, and then we can wrap it up there, I think. Oh, shouldn't have done that. 8-4 loss. Oh, now they're saying Cleghorn is not to blame for the loss. And actually, we got another injury there. Poulan is day-to-day. Okay, you want to wind it up there, Adam? We're gonna...
Sure. So thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Franchise Hockey Manager, as well as twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments as well, with our stream archives going live on Saturdays at about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey. You can also find a link to our official Discord in our Twitter bio. And of course, you can come on down to the official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which will bring you to the official forums where you can come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager, the recently released Out of the Park Baseball 25, or anything else you wish to discuss. If you missed it, FHM was on sale. If you're watching this now on YouTube, you missed it. It was on sale for a week. So unfortunately, you missed out on that. But yeah, that's kind of the big thing right now, Jeff.
If
We
you're
are
watching
working
us
on the
live,
final
it's
update.
still for sale until I think the sale ends, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. 10 o'clock
Your
Pacific
time, yeah.
tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just a little over 12 hours. Yeah, we were working on the final update for FHM 10.
Yeah, still good.
Before-
We got schedules a little pushed back than farther than it normally would be. It's going to be the post-trading deadline update, so that'll probably be ready, I'm thinking, very early in April. There's a couple of things we want to sort of squeeze in at the end that are going to take a little bit to get done.
Yeah. And with that, next week we will not be on Wednesday night, but expect to see us on Thursday night. Be a day later than normal.
Yep. And we'll
As
be
I kind of
back.
mentioned to Jeff, but this is the first time I'm confirming it with him.
Okay.
Live on air.
Yeah, well, you said it might happen. That's not a problem. And you will be back with Adam's Penguins game, which is going surprisingly well.
Yes, it is, as we head to the playoffs.
Okay, so thanks for coming out, everybody, and we will see you back here next Thursday.